this is a moment of crisis. The kind of small, private, unremarkable crisis I have occasionally faced since I buried both of my parents. It feels like a volcano of fear and shame and regret bursting to get out. Not something I can share with anyone except total strangers. I'm reading leaves and the tears are coming. Thick, salty tears that miss my vision and sting my eyes. I'm trying to make sense of it all, of my life, of the point of it all, or any of it. I hear my mother's voice in my head. The tears abate, my vision clears. I focus. And I'm here. Stood staring at the book I were reading only a moment ago in the front parlour at 14 Eagle Street. Only it's in a glass case 125 years later. I don't know how it's happened, but I'm here. She said just to trust it. So, I was packing up the library at the Eagle Street College. I say library, it isn't really. It's as many books as an architect's assistant has been able to afford. 107 as it happens. And I say college, but that's just us being ironical. It's a study group, about a dozen of us. They call me the master of the college, but that's a joke and all, not an unkind one. I'm in on it, mind, but it's a joke nonetheless. It's fatal for me, packing books. I can't resist opening them. And of course, in moments of change, or moments of despair, or moments of uncertainty, or moments of insecurity, or moments of joy, pretty much any sort of a moment you can think of, I always turn to him. Walt Whitman, the greatest American poet. At least that's what me and the college lads reckoned him to be. He has all the answers, even for a strange happenstance such as this. To think of time, of all that retrospection, to think of today and the ages continued henceforward. Have you yourself guessed that you would not continue? Have you feared these earth beetles? Have you feared the future would be nothing? Is today nothing? Is the beginningless past nothing? If the future is nothing, they are just as surely nothing. To think that the sun rose in the east, that men and women were flexible, real, alive, that everything was alive. To think that you and I did not see, think, or feel, nor bear our part. To think that we are now here and bear our part. Well, I am there or then, and rather you are here and now, bearing the part that once I bore. 2019. It was September the 12th, 1894 when I woke up this morning. And it's been a blooming long day. I'm set for moving from Bolton for Adlington. Father died last month. I've not done anything with his effects yet, not knowing the moves were coming. So there's plenty to get sorted at the new house, 40 Babylon Lane. There's my stuff too. She died nigh on 10 years ago. And there's already so little of her left. Just a wedding ring, a few other pieces of jewellery, a perfume bottle, a Bible, a book of common prayer gifted to her confirmation and passed from her to me at mine. There's Dad's clothes and tools. I can't let them drift away one by one over time. The move means I will have to force it to decide what of him will stay, what sold, what burnt, and what goes to them as never knew him but are poor enough to be glad of the warmth of a stranger's jacket or the grip of a well-heeled shoe. The moment someone dies, a little museum is created around them, a lot like this one. And everything they'll ever do or be is done. And suddenly, everything becomes precious, irreplaceable, priceless. After the grieving, you can start. You become a sort of creator. You sift through what's there and using nothing more than sentiment, work out what to keep, what represents them to you, what to remember them by. A domestic memorialisation. You'd be surprised how quickly a person's life can be whittled down to a few keepsakes. That's what started me off. Made me feel so pointless and desperate, like all these boxes were accusing me of something and I had no defence. Now, I want you to close your eyes and then just breathe with me. Do it now. In. 1, 2, 3. And hold. 1, 2, 3. And out. Slowly. 1, 2, 3. Now keep your eyes closed. I want you to picture a museum 100 years from now, and in that museum they've got an exhibition on about life in Bolton in the early 21st century, about the people in its lives. Now I'm going to ask you a question. Don't think on it too much. Just let the first thing that comes into your head be the truth. Let it be simple and clear. So here's my question. Of all the things you own, what represents you and your life best? Picture that one thing crystal clear in your mind. Now I'd like you to open your eyes and share with me what it was that you saw. Now I want you to picture those objects in glass cabinets like these ones. I saw a pebble. It was a small pinkish grey pebble. It was from Blackpool Beach. We'd gone there when I was a boy. Couldn't afford it, not really. But Ma and Pa wanted to show me the sea. Everyone else went in the Wakes weeks. We went the week before. It was cheaper and you got as good a time as anyone. Just not of everyone there, not with pals like. I walk along the beach. I want some money for some sweets, but I daren't ask. And just as I'm imagining the sugary, brittle joy of a mouthful of tooth-splintering rock, Mother comes up behind me. She looks at me and laughs. She slips a cool wet pebble into my hand. So you remember, she says. This morning I find that pebble as I'm packing. It's a way back there, to that memory, to Mother. But as I remember, it fills me with the greatest sense of loss and despair, not for Mother nor Father, but for something I haven't had. For the children I haven't had. For not making Ma and Pa grandparents. It's the greatest grief I've ever felt. Not for having anyone's hand to slip a wet pebble into. That was my object, that pebble. It was one of the only moments in my life where I had felt truly loved, but it was more than that. It was like she could see me at some future moment after she'd passed, needing to remember things but without her, but with the pebble. Stood sobbing against the boxes, silent, howling, feeling, unable to go on. It isn't here, is it? Would you help me search the displays, please? I must find it. It's property of James William Wallace, or just as Wallace as I like to be known. Is it there? No? No. No. Oh, there's Whitman's canary and Whitman's pen and the portrait of Whitman. Thing is, there's nothing here about me. Just about me. I don't have an object. I'm represented in these photographs for having owned these objects. But there's nothing here because it was mine. There's not my pen, my bowler hat or my watch. There's not my pebble. Men like me, well, men who aren't, well, the marrying kind, we get forgotten easily. If my parents are remembered, it's usually because of me. I maintain their museum of keepsakes. But if you've no children or no better half, even those little keepsakes don't get kept. Your pebble gets lost and no one even notices. Looking at all this now, I can see there's one way through. You attach yourself to greatness. I didn't think of it like that when I'd first started. I'd read Whitman's poetry as it brought such comfort to my grief, such illumination, that I simply wanted to share the joy of his writing and his view of the world with others. Mother could see I was different. No, I didn't go out courting the other lads, but she never set out. With her gone, and with Whitman's words of love, deep love for other men calling to me, I think this is my chance, my time somehow, to open up to be more. I find like-minded men and bring us together to share some of Whitman's poetry in the front parlour at 14 Eagle Street. The others see it and feel it, and we form something, a sort of bond around what we are, even if we can only say what we are through poems. But it is something like a family I can make. And then we, my darling Johnson and I, we write to him, to Mr. Whitman, and he writes back. We become correspondents, then friends. The Walt Whitman, the first letter, it's like finding Dickens on your doorstep. I go to see him in America, me, the millwright's son from a back terrace in Bolton. I write down everything he says to me when I'm there. I know it's important. I don't know why or how. Just is. I think I see the truth of it now. See what I've done. I capture some of the moments of Whitman's greatness. I make my life about sharing his greatness with others. And look, I'm still here. I survive, even if there is no one to call me Pa or Grandpa. There'll still be people talking about me as the master of Eagle Street College, as their literary brother, if nothing else, as one of the keepers of Whitman's legacy, as Wallace. That's the point. That's why she's brought me here. That's the moment she foresaw all those years ago on the beach in Blackpool. Her son without purpose, needing a reason to go on. I might not find my Pebble, but I am still here, still remembered, still a part of the story of things. That's from her, mother's Pebble. It's pulling me back. There's the kitchenware still to pack, and the delivery man is coming with his cart at 6. So you remember. So, think on't, be great, be Whitman. And if you can't be great yourself, be as close to greatness as your life and talents will allow. Whether you're the marrying type or not, your object might just make its way into a museum somewhere in 100 years from now, and people will still speak your name.